Another question as well later, which is one that I really do feel strongly about, but we do this one first. The big question, the big question, very, very topical at this moment in time, and you happen to be British. The big question is, will Liz Truss be any good? Will she be any good? It looks like she's certain to win. In a few weeks' time, she will be our Prime Minister, the third female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Liz Truss, will she be any good? Will she be any good? Okay, let's go back to the comments. Let me see that. Okay, so any opinions about Liz? Well, we're getting an opinion at Liz Truss. For those who for those who are not familiar with Liz Truss, I must admit I've never heard of it until this bloody race. Anyway, but here is Liz Truss. She's about 48 years of age, and she looks almost certain to be Britain's third female Prime Minister. Here she is. There's Liz there. Good-looking woman. Good-looking woman. No doubt about it. But, I mean, is she good at, being a Prime Minister? Will she be... She's got the mighty footsteps of Margaret Thatcher to follow in. The lesser footsteps of... what was her name? Theresa May, who didn't really, I don't think her heart was really in it. Liz Truss will be our third British Prime Minister, not voted for by the British public, voted for by the Conservative Cabinet. So let's see. David May, if she does no harm, she will be good. Okay. Ion Tilt, another WF puppet. Let me see. We just get these shout downs. Scaffolded John. She's a lefty. She wasn't. I think she was part of the Liberal Democrats or whatever the hell they're called, and part of the Liberal Democrats. And she's also a Remainer as well, which is not necessarily ideal considering that Brexit has come along. Kiki on the trail wouldn't trust her. Okay. Day and Ford. No, she will not. The cost of living is due to world politics and events. She can't influence the cost of fuel, gas, so we're all destroyed, yeah? Okay, but your opinion? Scaffolded John, she will be, and there's like a little symbol of, oh yeah, okay. The Clan F1 race, bring back Maggie. Oh, Maggie Thatcher, Christ almighty, I mean, when she became Prime, people hated her before she became Prime Minister. Other Conservatives hated her. They called her that bloody woman. Thatcher was first known as Thatcher the Milk Snatcher, because she was, I think she was the education or whatever she was, and she took the school milk off the kids, and Thatcher the Milk Snatcher, and she always opened her mouth, but it was clear that she was a powerful woman. A lot of people hated her simply because she was a woman, and we'd never had a female Prime Minister before. And she was ruthless. She was ruthless. She was a great politician. She had more balls than a lot of the fellas. But she was ruthless. She didn't give a damn. If you didn't have any money, she didn't care about you. She was all for the rich, and she didn't give a damn about the poor, and that was the fact of it, really. Okay. The Lost King of Scotland. Okay. Danish bacon. Okay, that's a bit of a sexist comment, that one. Let's see. David Coleman, I hope Liz is good. Okay. Michael Powell, what happened to Roger the Dodger? Well, I think we've done the course of Roger. There was a few others, but I think we've done the course of Roger. Roger the Dodger. You never know, we could always bring it back in some time in the future. Oh, lovely Cronenberg. Who's this? Mr. Democrats versus Republic. Yeah, okay. Greg Fox, you mean Miss Truss, lol, okay? Scaffolded John, join Patriotic Alternative. I'm not putting Bernard Pearsall's comment. Matthew Cartwright, probably going to be a useless PM, but I still wouldn't have a go on that, okay? Yours Travels, that's a very sexist comment, comment yours, very, very sexist. Roger, okay, I must admit, I wouldn't say no either, I wouldn't say no. Chaz Brown, another Thatcher, okay. No, she's got to prove herself before she become a... Maggie Thatcher, there was only one Maggie Thatcher, only one Margaret Thatcher. I mean, Liz Truss, it's clear that Liz Truss admires Maggie Thatcher. She wants to be like Maggie Thatcher. Whether she's got what it takes to be like Maggie Thatcher remains to be seen. I mean, the thing is, Oasis wanted to be the Beatles, but the fact is, Oasis were not the Beatles. There's only one Beatles. Nick Ross, Truss is an idiot. An idiot. When what? Only 6 people voted for him in 1922 committee, destroyed the Tory, but Truss is an idiot. Hasn't got a clue. There will be riots. Okay. Well, there was riots with Maggie. There was riots with Maggie. Maggie. Out. There was riots then. David Heisenberg, looking like Russell. Who cares as they're all bloody useless? Until Nigel Farage is PM, there's no one worth voting for. Right, now, controversy stuff. You know, if you love Nigel, some people will hate you. If you hate Nigel, some people will hate you. I must admit, this won't make me popular ever, but I'd like to see Nigel Farage become Prime Minister, because you were right. I mean, you know, he's the most outspoken, most charismatic one out there. But he won't become Prime. There's only one way he could ever become Prime Minister, is if he won a seat, which he never has done. He's never been an MP, and if he joined the Conservative Party and became their leader. And I just don't see that happening. Okay. So that's Liz. That's the lovely Liz. Now, what I noticed about Liz when she was on, you know, the debate on Sky TV, her opponent, by the way, is Rishi Washy. I mean, he was leading, wasn't he? He was leading the Conservatives, but then she massively overtook him. He was well in the front line, and she just came behind and she sort of overtook him. I think, why did she overtake? I think what it is with Rishi Washy, I think he's probably very, very confident as a chancellor. Difficult times with Fairlaw and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you know, difficult times. But I think what really was too hot to handle with Rishi is his private life. His wife is mega rich. Oh yeah, he's got a green card. I think he owns a home in California or somewhere, and he's got a green card as well. And you have to question: is his heart really, really, really in this country, or does he simply want to become Prime Minister because it's another string to his bow? You know, I mean, you've got to question whether his heart is really into it. I mean, you know, he does, however, he could, however, be, if he does become Prime Minister, which he probably won't, he could audition for Dr. Spock in the all-Indian version of Star Trek. You know, there you go. I mean, it's absolutely, he bears an uncanny resemblance to Leonard Nimoy, yeah? So that's that's it. By the way, before we go on and let's just pay a little bit of a tribute. Boris Johnson, okay. You know, he's been thrown out, basically. They voted him out. They said he was a liability. Well, I thought he was a bloody liability when he became Prime Minister, to be honest with you. I mean, it looks like we were scraping the bottom of the barrel. But he became Prime Minister anyway. But now he's voted out anyway. So I think he's history anyway. I think he's history. But in case people abroad, you know, are not quite familiar with what Boris Johnson looks like, this is a picture of our outgoing Prime Minister. This is what he looks like. Okay, there you go. Our outgoing Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Boris, I'm going to miss you. No one else will, but I will anyway. I thought you were a bloody good laugh. Boris Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's have a little look at the chat. Let me see. What do we got here? Look what we got here. Come on, get over there. Gemini style. Liz Truss is a wooden stick. I think she's not. She's what I've seen. She's not very commanding, is she? She's not very commanding when it comes to. Well, there's Maggie Thatcher. I mean, Maggie Thatcher didn't she have elocution lessons with Sati and Sati or whatever? And because she spoke very differently, and they encouraged Maggie Thatcher to talk in a more commanding way to improve. They have all these people who advised them, like, you know, to be more commanding in public. And you know, but I think she'll improve. She's not naturally charismatic. Yogi Bear, Truss will be just like May, can't do anything right. I thought Theresa May would have been very, very good for the job. But she was very much. I don't think her heart was in being in a prime minister. She was taking bloody 3-week holidays in the Alps and all that. You can't do that when you're a prime minister. I don't think her heart was really in it. But what I did notice about Liz Truss is that she loves talking with her hands. I mean, when she stood up, she's not necessarily charismatic. I think her advisors will work on that. They will probably give her training on how to be more charismatic, because they do that sort of thing. They've done it with Thatcher, and they will give her training on how to be more charismatic when she's dealing with the public and all that. But what I did notice about her is that she talks an awful lot with her hands. You know, she talks a lot with her hands, you know, rather like Magnus Pike did. You know, he'll talk with, oh, yeah, you know, when he blinded me with science, absolutely. You know, like Magnus Pike talked with his hands. And here's another picture. There she is again, talking with her hands. She loves to, you know, she stand up. I know blokes do that, don't they? Women don't like talk with their hands. You know, the women don't talk with their hands. You know, like Magnus Pike. Remember Magnus Pike, that crazy scientist? He used to talk with his hands. You know, he's wow. It's a big world out there. You know, whatever. And you know, Liz, I hope they discourage Liz from doing that. You know, from talking with their hands and all that. You know. What are you going to do about the economy, Liz? Well, we're gonna cut taxes. I mean, what do you think of Rishi Sunak, Liz? Oh, I think he's really, really great. Oh, my God Almighty. Anyway, so that's Liz Truss. Let's put a nice picture of her back up again. Good looking woman. But I don't think she's naturally charismatic. I think when the Conservatives must know something about it that the rest of us don't know. They must see it as having potential, and there's probably some experts in there. I think when she becomes prime minister, which I'm sure most certainly will, I think the same type of people who worked on Maggie Thatcher will work on it, and they will make it. Because it has been said with Liz Truss that she is not a good communicator. Maggie Thatcher was. And Theresa May was. I always thought Theresa May, she always had tears. She sounded like she was going to break out. She had a voice which she sounded like she was going to break out into tears at any moment, Theresa May. Liz Truss seems a little bit cold, and she's a good-looking woman, but she lacks a bit of personality. But I think they'll work on that. They will. They'll give her the correct things to say. They'll give her the correct speeches. And they will, they'll probably tell her not to use her hands so much. You know what I mean? Let me see. Saturday, the billionaire or the nutter. Nick Ross, worse than Thatcher. The Tories have had 12 years and managed to destroy the UK. But they've been tough times. I mean, don't forget when the 2008 recession came in, dreadful recession. Labour was in power there. You can't blame the Tories for that. And as for as for Brexit and all that, people say that David Cameron's legacy will be Brexit. You know, he was a fool to allow the vote and and all of that. But the thing is, somebody had to do it. That argument about getting out of Europe was going on for generations. Really, somebody had to do it. So I don't blame Cameron for that. You know. Let's see. Tampa guy. Yes, she looks like my veterinarian. Good for you, mate. I'd take my dog there more often if that was the case. Chelsea, women shouldn't be allowed to be here, and they've proved they abuse power. No. And one thing about Maggie Thatcher, she was not a feminist. You can't say Maggie Thatcher was a bloody annoying feminist. She was not a feminist. Maggie Thatcher. She wasn't. I mean, she cared about herself, and she cared about her rich friends. She didn't do anything for feminism. She wasn't a feminist, Thatcher. She was she just wasn't a feminist. I don't think she really cared about women's rights that much. And Mark Alec, I thought Margaret Thatcher was not too bad. Her and our president at the time, Ronald Reagan, got along pretty well. They were a couple, weren't they? I mean, Reagan, he sells with affection now. I mean, at the time, he was criticised because he was very, very old. The way that Joe Biden is now, I'm not sure if Reagan was that old as Biden is now, but you know, he was criticised at the time, but he's looked upon now with affection. And yeah, they got on well. They got on well, Thatcher and Reagan. They made a nice couple. Not sure, you know, couple of what, but nice couple anyway. Paul Hoskin, if I was Prime Minister, I would give mongers 2 free holidays to Thailand every year, free KY, jelly and bird allowance. I hope that you become Prime Minister very, very soon. Gas 77, she turns me on. Oh, you can take it to Asda. She can go, you know, you take it Asda when you buy loads of stuff and then run off without paying. Here you go. David Coleman, will she be strong? Will she stop the illegal immigrants, stop crime? Will she be strong? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know the answer to that one yet. We'll see, because there will come a time when she will have to prove her strength. Will she stop the illegal immigrants? No one's going to stop that. They all say it. They all say it. We're going to do something with all these bloody thousands of people, you know, coming into our country. You know, they're after our benefit system and all this kind of stuff. They're coming here illegally. Some are coming, you know, to work, and some are coming here being up to no good. Everyone, they're pretty patel just about everyone else is, we're going to do something. This time we're really going to do something about it. And do they bollocks? Do they bollocks? They never do it. Britain is a soft touch country. The rest of the world knows it, and that's why it carries on. Okay. Let me see now. Here's a decisive one. Thinks she will be a disaster. Okay, that's very pessimistic. Pella, if you had the democracy in England, Nigel Farage would be your Prime Minister. I must admit, I used to think that Nigel Farage was quite annoying. I used to think of him as Nigel Facade, because he was bombastic. When he was campaigning to get us out of Europe, he used the most bombastic statements. You know, before you know it, if Turkey joins the EU, we're going to have 70 million Turks heading this way. No, we're not. We're not going to have 70 million. I've bloody spent a lot of time in Turkey. Most Turks are not even enthusiastic about Europe anyway. But, you know, but Nigel Farage, other than his bombastic language, I mean, in terms of charisma, he's got more charisma than all the others put together. It really has. Nick Ross, Thatcher was a disaster. I left the UK because of it. We are paying for their crap, and we're paying for their crap energy policies now. Okay. Well, you know, all I can say to that is, ding dong, the witch is dead. Okay. David Eisenberg, Maggie had about 7 bodyguards, not like the rest of about 2 or 3, but she bloody needed them. Did you have people who wanted to kill her? David Coleman, will she give Eddie a job in a government? I don't know. I don't really bad to the government. I don't really bad to the government. Definitely not for me, mate. Yeah, McLaren F1 race, I'd vote for Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah, but a bit of a headbanger, yeah, but he'd be a laugh anyway. He's probably not as different from Boris Johnson as what you might think. Simon Eyes, give it a chance. Sure, she can't do any worse than the other idiots. Okay. Let me see. ESAM man, some great information from ESAM man. Depends on the cabinet team she puts in place around her. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see if she puts it around her. But I mean, she's just come out of nowhere, because Rishi Wishy-Washy was well in the lead. But all of a sudden, when it came down to a 2-horse race, she just come out of nowhere. She was like that horse at the back, you know, he just comes out of nowhere. So she hasn't won yet, but she's massively ahead in the polls. I still think Rishi Wishy-Washy could well be the best man for the job, you know. But the fact is, I think, you know, is the background, you know, the controversy about his wife and their status, and also, also the fact that he's got a green card in America, and you know, you wonder whether his heart is really in this country, you know. Yogi Bear, Europe didn't call Maggie the Iron Lady, but on absolutely, she was a horrible human being, but she was a bloody good, politician. Farang Travels, Oasis much better than the Beatles. You're entitled to your opinion. McLaren have one race, bedroom tax rules, okay. Nick Ross, Truss will not be long, as there is huge unrest coming. Patel trying to pass new laws to stop protest. If you stop peaceful protest, it will guarantee violent protest. Mark Twain. Well, that's well said anyway, mate. Tings, that's had a lot of blood on her hands. Okay, I think maybe you're talking about the Falklands there. Graham Johnson, Liz Truss will change things. She has a habit of change. She was a Lib Dem and changed the Conservative. She was Remain and changed the Brexit. She was against the monarchy and now supports it. Yeah, she keeps doing U-turns. She keeps, like Thatcher famously said, the lady's not returning. Liz Truss turns around like a bloody top, doesn't she? She turns around like a revolving doll, Liz Truss. This is the problem. She seems to be doing an awful lot of U-turns. She's got to go to the Queen every week, hasn't she? And she's got to meet the Queen and say, look, man, you want to say that I hated you, you think you should be thrown out of fucking palace. I didn't really mean it. I like you, really. I mean, it's a bit awkward, like, isn't it? Okay, David Mayer, Maggie made the UK dependent on Russian gas. Okay. David Cook, Liz Truss, the whole Tory Labour and all the rest need deporting. It's Nigel Farage on that. Well, a lot of support for Nigel Farage. A lot of support for Nigel Farage. Gemini star, Margaret Thatcher, Leslie had an affair with Ronald Reagan. You're only saying that because they're both dead and they can't answer back. Come on. Come on. Mark Hollock, I did like your Winston Churchill. Of course, Winston Churchill, amazing. What offended a lot of people when Thatcher died a few years ago is that people kept putting it in the same sentence as Winston Churchill, and some people said that's dreadful, because if it wasn't for Winston Churchill, we as British people would be speaking in German now. Yeah, Winston Churchill, amazing, absolutely amazing. He lost the election the following year because the economy was so bad. That's after the war ended. But Churchill was Churchill, absolutely marvellous. Yours Travels, the day Thatcher died, to his parties in every pub. Somehow I don't blame you. Okay, so there you go. That is Liz Truss. So what do we think about it? We don't know yet. She hasn't won yet, but it looks like almost certain that she will win. I think she lacks charisma. She talks too much with her hands, like bloody Magnus Pike. She talks too much with her hands. And she's got to learn to be more commanding. Margaret Thatcher, she was naturally commanding. They did work on Margaret Thatcher because apparently her voice, I think if you go back to her early days, her voice was very different than the way it was later. And I think they gave her speech, they advised on her speech to make it more commanding. I think Saatchi, I think they were the people who doled it up. Liz Truss, they've got a long way to go, but she will. I think what will come out with Liz Truss, if there comes some really, really major issues which she needs to get her teeth in. And I can imagine if there's a really major issue that breaks and where she's got to show her strength, her strength, her commanding strength as a leader. I think that's when she will really come out. You'll see, there's probably a fire within her. She hasn't really been given the opportunity just yet. I say give it a chance anyway. Can't do any worse. Can't do any worse than Boris. Let me see. Far away, John. Liz says what people want to hear, so she will say what Labour wants to hear in the chat. Labour, who were they? It was Labour. I mean, Labour's bloody. No, I don't know. Their leader, he's about as charismatic as a plank of wood. They're not going to get in power. They're not. David Cook, okay, fine and dandy. Paul Hoskin, all mongers will go business class for free and there will be monger-only planes with a go-go bar on board if I was PM. Okay. If I rule the world, okay? But Clan F1 Rishi Sunak, the first billionaire PM. He's not PM just yet. Let's see, David Coleman. I watched Drinking Pints with Nigel Farage on GBN. In terms of charisma, he just eats the others alive. He really, really does. He is a man who speaks his mind, and he's believable. He's a bit bombastic, but he just eats the others alive. He really, really, really does. It's a pity, it's a pity he's not leader of the Conservatives. Mark Olive, always wonder why no one gave Boris a hairbrush. They probably did, but it was his it was his style, his moppet. I mean, he couldn't take him seriously. No one else could take him seriously. David Q, Liz Truss is just the sort you meet in the Dole office, yeah? Oh, okay. Well, Nick Ross, Eddie, you're doing the Liz Truss thing with your hand. She is. Am I really, really doing that with my hand? Am I really doing that? Am I? Okay. Oh, the Lost King of Scotland. Did you hear what Liz Truss said about Nicola Sturgeon? Pretty funny. What did she? I heard it a few times. What did she say exactly? What did she say? She's. I can't remember the exact word, but basically somewhere she just keep quiet, bloody disappear, or something like that, or something like yeah, absolutely. Chaz Brown, she looks like a woman who won't deal with the illegal invasion at Dover. No one's going to deal with that, mate. They say that they're going to deal with it, but they won't. Nigel would. Nigel Farage would. But he's not. He's never going to be Prime Minister. Let's see. Tings, give Truss 2 weeks and you will empty your pockets. Okay. Well, I will say, I'm going to be out the country. British. In about 3 weeks, she will be Prime Minister. I think it's about 3 weeks from now. Nick Ross, okay. Well, we have free speech here. We have a little bit of free speech. Give Nick Griffin the job controlling the rubber boat, whatever. Yeah, okay. Not going to comment about that. Some people don't know who that person is, but I do. Mark Ollick, Liz has lovely chest muscles. Yes, she has got a nice body. She's 48 years old. Good-looking woman. Esan, man. Farage is a pisshead. I can't call him that. He'd be like the pot calling the kettle black. He was pissed up tonight the Brexit vote. Conceded that he's going to find out we voted with him. Okay. Oh, God almighty. Oh, Liz Truss is in the chat. Anyone? Oh, Liz Truss is in the chat. Okay. But Clan F1 race, Blair talked a lot, did with his hand, and yeah, but Blair was a bloke. It's okay if a bloke talks with his hands because he's passionate about it, but it just looks kind of out of place if a woman talks with her hands. Max Bygraves talked with his hands, Magnus Pike, but a woman shouldn't. It just doesn't come across as feminine if a woman talks with her hands. Let me see now. Who's this? Let me see this one. I want this one here. Pele, Liz can't be worse than Tony Blair. Tony Blair won 3 elections voted for by the public. Liz hasn't won one yet. So we'll see about that. Gary Hughes, I agree. Nigel for me too. I've met him a couple of times and he's impressed me. Yes, he's a Marmite, but whatever. I mean, I think he's got a great YouTube. Watch Nigel Farage's YouTube channel. He's very watchable. I'd rather watch him any day and hear what he's got to say. Let's see. Nick Ross, Brown sold the gold. Yeah, at a bargain price, and Cameron was another. He's only an idiot. Oh well. And nomads overseas, Theresa May looked and moved like an extra from Return of the Living Dead. That dancing video was like Pinocchio. It was drink of spite with ecstasy. I mean, I liked Theresa May. She was very commanding. She had tears in her voice a lot of the time. But I stopped liking her when she became Prime Minister simply because I don't think her heart was in it. She was taking so many holidays, long holidays, 3 weeks holiday. Prime Minister shouldn't be doing that. I just don't think, I mean, you know, I think she became Prime Minister at a time when she was planning on bloody retiring. You know, I don't think her heart was really in being a Prime Minister. Yogi Bear, Sunak has a lot against the party because they think he stabbed Boris in the back, whereas Truss stayed till the end. Okay. Chas Brown, Theresa May was like an old bulldog without any teeth, one of the most useless prime ministers. She's the one who signed up the UK to the UN Migration Pact, meaning endless immigration. Oh my God. Nick Ross, what a great with his great society. Thatcher only cared about her circle and made them all rich and screw the rest. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right, yeah. That sounds about right. Screw the rest. She didn't give a damn for the poor. She just didn't give a damn. Jamie296, Nicholas, Thatcher left power over 30 years ago. You can't keep blaming Thatcher for policies that even Blair or Brown chose to stick with, okay? North Korea bound, Ed, would you give up a night with Anissa Kate for the Tory threesome with Liz, Maggie, and your fellow Blue Scouser Esther McVeigh? No, I'd rather have Anissa Kate than any of them, I'm afraid. Absolutely. Let's see, David Q. Ed, if you say Truss is good looking at, I'm going to troll this chap. Okay, won't do. But you said it, not me. Bryan Street, okay, yeah, fine and dandy. What do you mean, Bryan Street? Has she invited you around for a mug of coffee or something? How do you know this? Jamie, Liz has certainly made the most of her Instagram profile while having been foreign secretary. Pictures all over the world, Thailand, Japan, Malaysia, etc. Oh, she's one of them. She's a bit of a globetrotter. Expat Pete, Eddie, would you? I wouldn't say no. Dane Ford, Nigel Farage had one policy. He was a one-trick pony. He won the argument with the British people. Job done. I must admit with UKIP, I did think about that with UKIP. I wouldn't have voted for them personally because they were a one policy. You know, let's get out of Europe. And I was wondering, what happens when we get out of Europe? What are they? You know, they never had anything really to say about the economy or anything like that. It was just let's get out of Europe, really. I am Tilt. Truss has a web page on the World Economic Forum website. It says it all. Okay. David Heisenberg. Nigel Farage got us out of the UK, not Boris who tried to steal it and take the credit, but still has not done the correct EU whatever. Let's see. David Coleman, but illegal immigrants are not happy about the nice hotels they've been put up in. Yeah, I've heard that. You know, these illegal immigrants coming here, we've been putting up in bloody nice hotels and then complain they're not good. Yeah, I've heard it all, mate. Heard it all. It's a pity we're a soft-touch country. Mark Allen, I thought Ron was in prison. I haven't really followed the story much of Ron Jeremy, but if he ends up in prison, at least he's had the bloody good. He'd probably be a hero on there. Yeah, but the prisoners will probably love you, you jammy bastard. You live the kind of life that I can only dream of. Nick Ross, Ron Jeremy's. I'll have to look into that story. I haven't actually followed that one. Esan man, Charles isn't fit to be king. Oh, come on. The royal family are a mockery anyway. They're a bunch of clowns anyway. I think Charles I want to see Prince Charles be king. I mean, he won't be the first wacko king of England, will he? I mean, you know, Jesus Christ. I mean, I think Charles I think he'll be a lot of fun. I think he'll be a bumbling fool, and he will give us He will give us lots to talk about. We don't want a serious king of it. We want someone who's a bumbling clown. I think I'm looking forward to it. Okay, let me see. Here's a question. Paul Hostings, what actor would make a good US president? Well, the one that's the most charismatic one, I think, would be Tom Hanks, wouldn't it? I mean, he's the most charismatic, and Tom Hanks is a brilliant actor, very very versatile. I think he'd probably make a good president. And he's a nice guy. Everyone loves Tom Hanks. You know, when he accepted those Oscars, his speech went on and on and on. I mean, he thanked various people and he thanked more people, and then about 5 hours later, when everyone was asleep, he was still thanking people. But yeah, Tom Hanks. Mark Olive, but he did win it back in 1950. Well, yeah, oh yeah, Churchill, yeah, absolutely. Churchill did win it, but he did come back into power. I think that was all before my time. But Churchill's a legend, and I think it should be in the same sentence as Mrs. T. Definitely not. Nick Ross, what is needed is I'm going to say what is needed. I'll tell you what bloody need. I'm going to need another beer. That's what I'm going to need. Okay. Oh, lovely. My throat's all dry. What is needed is the general. Oh no. I think we've had how many general elections have we had in the past 10, 12 years? I was sick of them. That's why personally I didn't want to see Boris go. Even though I don't like him, I think he's a clown and a buffoon. But I think we've had enough general elections. And anyway, who's going to win a general election other than the Conservatives? Bloody Barney Rubble, that look alike, who's running Labour. They're not going to win anything. Yogi Bear, I couldn't understand when he threw him out of power at the end of 1945. Then got back in at the next election. I think because the economy was destroyed. I mean, people were voting with the wallets, weren't they? As they often do. Kiki on the trail. Nigel Farage, the kind of guy I'd have a few beers with. Yeah, I'll go along with that. I'll go along with that. Tom Charlie. Labour are too woke. Oh, they're all bloody too woke in this day and age. That's another story, isn't it? We'll talk about that sometime. Neil Fleet from Wavertree, Liverpool. Just joined the stream. Thought for one terrible moment you were playing Roger or Dodgy with Liz Truss York. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. Let me see. Okay. Michael Gines, I think Liz Truss is sexy. Okay, good for you. I'm not going to repeat what Stephen Campbell said there. I'm not going to repeat that, okay? Nick Ross. Truss will never win an election. Never, never, never. You don't know that. You don't know that. A general election might be a couple of years away. We're all heading for tough times. And people are not going to blame Liz Truss. We're heading for tough times now. She might be good. I mean, obviously, the Conservative politicians, I mean, it's not the British public who were voting it in. It's the Conservative politicians who were voting it in. And they may see qualities that the rest of us can't see in it. She might be good. We don't know yet. Give it a chance. But I don't know. I think, I look at the opposition. I don't think Labour's up to much. And Nomad's overseas, she looked like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. Either that or she had a hump. Okay, that's what you're talking about there. Mark Allen, the new US press secretary, gestures with her right hand constantly. I swear she thinks she's a helicopter. She has to read their answers from a book. She acts like a 7-year-old. It's unbelievable. I don't know, in this day and age, between Britain and America, we've got a motley, some bloody oddball politicians, haven't we, these days? We've got some of the best people are not politicians. The ones who you think will be. I mean, how about Nigel Farage, the PM, and Martin Lewis, the economist, the money saving expert? How about him, the Chancellor? I'd go along with that one, to be honest with you. Kiki on the sale mark on poisonous political climate in the USA. Now very, very concerning. Okay, well, I'm not going to get involved in any of that. Not going to get involved in any of that. Chris Kelly, nice to have you, mate. Apparently Liz Truss said that if she becomes Prime Minister, she's so good with her hands, she give all the medals to... I'm not going to... Okay, he said that, not me. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Oh, wildcat. Liz Truss will take England back to the golden age when people drank warm beer and ladies cycled to Evesham past the cricket ground. God bless. We've heard this before. We've heard this. Didn't John Major say that? When John Major was Prime Minister, didn't he say something corny like that? I want to take England back to an older England with leather on willow. You know, the sound of cricket in the field, playing cricket in the field. And didn't he say it? And then, you know, oh, they all say that. I think they're all living in cloud cuckoo land. Nick Ross, the election is closer than you think. It will all change due to the high unrest that is coming down the pipeline. The Labour Party is over. People will vote for reclaim or reform. I think British. I mean, if you just look at some of the bloody, you know, some of the third-rate politicians that are in line to get the top jobs. I mean, politics is in the state. I think it's all old hat, to be honest with you. Let's see, John. Okay, Michael Powell, John Major was banging Edwina Curry. Can you remember that? Yuck, yuck. I mean, she was the one who told the world about that. She seems to be proud of it. You know, imagine Edwina Curry, you know, black leather and PVC and all that. She looked the type, didn't she? Who's this? David Coleman, try Canada. We are living in a dictatorship. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not long ago, it just seemed to me that, you know, Canada was the most desirable place to live, and now a lot of discontentment there.